let's talk about all-time highs. And in particular, I want to talk about how, in my opinion, there are two types of all-time highs. And to explain it better, I'm going to need to invoke some math in the whole proof on countable versus uncountable infinity. It sounds a little wordy, but don't worry, I'm going to water it down. If you don't know what AD line is, or advancers versus decliners, or if you've never even heard the term market breadth, or if you have, and you just think, okay, the market has bad breadth, does it need a tic-tac or something? Well then, this lesson is going to help you out a bit to at least give you another visualization of what's going on. Let's begin with our little math lesson first, and then we'll make the connection on how this helps me view the market in a similar manner. So, as we can see, assume that there exists a bijection. I'm kidding, of course. Let's instead think of this as a hotel with infinite rooms scenario. This is so far off in the future that all our guests, their names, we've moved beyond conventional names, and they're instead rational and irrational numbers between 0 to 1. Tomorrow they all leave on a spaceship, and they'll be headed to Mars, finally, after only 2 years.
Had separation by now. Obviously, this does not appear to be a nominal situation.
Yeah, it does appear to be spinning, but I do want to remind everyone that everything after clearing the tower was icing on the cake.
And Ricky will receive $1 trillion once he completes this Herculean task, as long as everybody gets to their room. So his only job is to then come up with some sort of convention that he can just have everybody assigned to a room and he doesn't have to think too hard about it. Ricky, being the extremely clever cat that he is, thinks about it for a couple of seconds and then realizes this isn't that hard. All I've got to do is come up with some sort of convention where they each get assigned to a room, and then I can sit back and collect my $1 trillion for having done literally nothing. He knows humans are smart, and that they wouldn't repeat any number on any child. So when he starts constructing his list on how he's going to assign them to their rooms, he starts with 1 over 1. Well, that would go to room 1. 1 over 2, he'd go to room 2. 2 over 2, well, he doesn't have to worry about that, because that's the same as 1 over 1, so we cross that one off. 1 over 3, well, he would go to room 3. Simple enough, right? So he continues out for the next couple of steps. And of course, he's eliminating anything that simplifies down into a number that's already existed. Once he feels pretty confident with his solution, he then sits back, curls up, relaxes on a pillow a bit, and waits to collect all his money. So then that night, the guests start showing up, and everything looks good on the surface at the beginning. Everybody's showing up in an orderly fashion. He's got his little list, so he just cross-references, and he's like, hey, this is your room. You're assigned to room 7. You're assigned to room 3. You're assigned to room 42. So on and so forth. His night is going extremely chill. Until this guy shows up. And when he does, Ricky's left scratching his head on, who are you? Because he didn't assign him a room. And then this guy also shows up. And then all of a sudden, everything starts derailing. Because he's starting to realize there are a lot of people showing up right now that do not have a room. So he runs back into the kitchen. He starts talking to the chefs on, hey, we're going to have to divide up some of these meals that we prepared for them. And also, there's not enough rooms for everybody to have. And naturally, the guests catch wind of this, and then it's pure pandemonium. Everybody's running out to every room, breaking down doors, stealing mattresses. It's pure, absolute chaos. This is what we mean by uncountable infinity. Hopefully, my math analogy was simple enough that everybody was able to follow along. And now I want to segue into the two types of markets that I believe there are. So when you see all-time highs, you either have a countable all-time high or I won't say uncountable because there's only ever like 2,000 stocks on the market, but we'll say a not easily countable all-time highs. And what I mean by that is when we look at the individual underlying stocks in the whole market, if we can count on like two hands how many stocks are hitting new all-time highs when the entire market is making a new all-time high, that's probably not a good indicator of health in the market. So I was looking for a Wayback Machine for heat maps, and apparently I couldn't find any. So maybe if you know of one, drop it in the comments below. That'd be really helpful, I guess. But whatever, I went ahead and built one for the top 100 companies, and we can go back, click on any date, and it'll update and say what happened on that day heat map wise. So I'll drop the link in the description for access to the sheet if you want a copy of your own. And now I'm going to put up some pictures on comparing different all-time high days throughout the year. So here's an all-time high. We've got June 30th. And when we look at the heat map on this, can we count up the green stocks extremely easily? No, not really. It's going to take multiple hands to count these up. So it's probably a good sign that all the underlying stocks are partying, and it's one of those, okay, it's probably a safe time to enter these all-time highs because everybody should be going up in tandem. The next all-time high that we're going to be looking at is August 12th. And this is coming just a couple days after headlines were saying that the AI bubble has burst. Here's what you need to know and why the AI sector is collapsing. And this is what the all-time highs look like. Is this an easily countable when we're just looking at the green stocks? I would argue no. It's not as clean as our first example, but it still looks relatively safe to enter most things. Our next all-time high is September 15th. And here, it's not easily uncountable, but it's also not easily countable. It's like a 50-50. If you're feeling a little iffy around this time frame, that's fair. Just look at the map. It's screaming to me like half of the stocks are partying. The other half, they're not allowed inside the club. Now we're going to be entering the October time frame where we've made multiple all-time highs. And the headlines are screaming that, hey, we're at record highs. This is the longest winning streak ever. The heat maps for these all-time highs, I'll put them all here one by one. But we've got October 1st. It's looking pretty countable on the stocks that are doing well. And this only gets worse when we get to our next one, which is October 28th. This is extremely easily countable. And then October 29th, which you can probably count all the stocks that are making new all-time highs on one hand. The headlines are going to be screaming that, hey, it's never been better to get into this market. But when you look at the heat map, are you really trusting to buy anything and it's going to work out? Or does it look like something is wrong underneath the hood? And that's why with this recent sell-off that we've been having, I'm not surprised, because when you're showing me these are the all-time highs and like 80% of the stocks are not participating, it's just a select few that are making new all-time highs, yeah, it's a good indication that you shouldn't be trusting everything. Therefore, before you start getting high because the market is hitting new all-time highs, make sure you're doing your due diligence on checking whether everybody's being invited to this party or it's only a select few that are making these new all-time highs. If it's the latter, then you're not really in a rush to get into this market. You can wait, it's gonna be fine.